Good morning, everyone, and I'm so grateful for an opportunity to give an impact and to present what I know. It's not an easy thing standing up here, especially on Pastor Atu's pulpit. Above all, before God, to give his people something to think about. Yeah. So today we are going to speak on technology. One way or the other, everybody interacts with technology. Everybody uses some form of technology. In your hands right now, there's technology. In your pocket, there's technology. You have heard about technology. And little by little, the technology divide is being closed. So usually people are in faraway lands. We don't hear of them. And they have to find it a little difficult to get to us. But now, through technology, many people are able to reach us. So the divide is getting smaller. In advanced countries, the divide is almost not there. But in Ghana, it's still there, but it's getting smaller. So we want to understand technology in today's world. And then we'll have a brief overview of when anybody talks about IT or information technology, what is it about? And from this slide, you'll be seeing IT. So don't read it as it, read it as IT, please. So when we talk about information technology, it's any device or any means by which we are storing, we are processing, securing, and sharing information, one. And then other people also will go further and add that the use of computers, networks, software, and systems. So computer, everybody's used to a computer, the normal one that you hold. And then the software, what runs in the computer. And then systems, all of them put together that enable us to achieve certain results. And information technology helps us, or it supports work, communication, learning, and business. So I spoke about use of computers. Now, computers are not only the laptops and the desktops that you see. Maybe you see somebody having like a physical big computer that we are all used to. These days, every device has a little bit of computer in it. In fact, when I was studying, somebody told me about sports. When they're having their football matches, the jerseys that they wear, before they put on the jersey, they have wearables. They have something they wear that measures stamina, different things about the human being playing. Those are little computers that bring the information together. Your phone is a computer. Cars are now computers. Your fridge, they have some intelligence. They are computers. So let's keep that in mind. So, before even going further, you can tell where the conversation is going. That computers just extend beyond what Pascal has at the back there. And it goes into our pockets. And every little thing that we have, our microwaves at home, are all computers. So it stores, process, secure information. And then there's the use of computers and networks and software all put together in systems. And then it supports work, communication, learning, and business. Why does IT matter? Why does information technology matter? It improves efficiency and productivity. And so in next two slides, I'll talk about the industrial revolution, so you see where IT comes in. So the first reason is that it will improve your efficiency. So now you don't have to get up and walk to Abisim or walk to sit in a bus to Accra to give money to somebody. No, you sit here and you're able to send money to somebody in Accra. Remember the definition of technology: supports work, communication, learning, and business. So now you're able to send money to Accra, and the person does a transaction for you and gives you a reply. You get it? So it makes us more efficient and more productive. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, you could have sat in a car to that place. It's over for you. Next, it connects people globally. So people are here and they can confidently talk about America. Meanwhile, he has not stepped foot there. People are here and they can tell you about the next soccer match and tell you updates on a player. In fact, people are angry because Manchester United didn't buy a certain player. They have never stepped foot there. But technology is connecting us globally, so you feel as though you are there. You get it? The next thing is that it drives innovation and automation. Now, because you have computers, and once again, when I talk about computers, I'm extending it beyond the normal laptop. So what's in your pocket is driving innovation. So you go to the creative art industry, you go to WhatsApp, TikTok, all those stuff. People are coming up with innovations, and people are thinking and say, hey, does this thing even exist? This thing is even available. It's driving a lot of innovation. People are thinking, what else can I do with my phone? I can make money with my phone. I can do other things with my phone or with the little things that I know about in technology. And so it's driving a lot of innovation and automation. And then lastly, it also creates employment opportunities. So something has come, we all learn it, somebody will be better at it. So the person who was using a typewriter 100 years ago is no longer relevant. Now the person who knows how to type on a computer is relevant. Employment opportunity. Somebody understands the computer that sits in your car. So when you develop a problem, you take it to him and he fixes it for you. Employment. Somebody is building the networks. How you are able to communicate from one point to another. He's building it. Technology and has employment opportunity. So as you are listening to the things that information technology can do, I need to also teach you about the careers that are available. Now, technology is very broad, just by definition, and the things that it does, and even the devices that we use. It has a broad coverage. Like, it's very broad. We can't exhaust it in one session. If we pick just one career, we can keep talking about it. So I picked out a few popular careers that we can talk about it, and then it will whet your appetite. I'm always available. You can come for more. So IT support help desk. So these people are set up in organizations so that as soon as you have a problem, you just call them. My mouse is not working, my desktop is not working, this application is not working. You reach out to them and they come and sort it out for you. These people are skilled in the everyday use of computers, so they can easily help you. The software developer. So when you pick your phone, the WhatsApp is developed by somebody. Somebody sat down and thought about it and converted it into the way that a machine understands. So then it becomes WhatsApp and useful for you, and you're able to work with it. So the web developer is the same as the software developer, just that this person is developing it over the web. So now you go to Facebook, www.twitter. So that person is developing it over the web. That's the difference between the software developer. And there's the cybersecurity specialist. In every organization, when we are thinking about the good, there's somebody also doing the bad. So the cybersecurity person is like the police person, okay? The police on the internet, the police with your computer. He thinks ahead of the criminal and secures you. An example of a cybersecurity implementation is your password. So once they created the phone and you can keep your files and money on it, somebody quickly thought about it. If somebody gets your phone, he'll get your money. So let's put the password. That's what the cybersecurity specialists do. And then there's the data analyst. So the data analyst is the one looking at all the data. Let me go back to my football scenario. So the person has worn the dress or the shirt, is bringing information. There's stamina, there's strength, there's speed, there is agility. There's a lot of things being measured. Who sits behind and makes sense of all the data? The data analyst. You sit down and look at all what is in there. So if we bring it to the church setting, let's say we pick the number of people in the church, the age differences, the work that they do, the programs. The data is so scattered, a lot of data points. The data analyst sits down and he thinks through and he makes sense of the data and says, oh, at 7 o'clock, only people age 10 to 15 are present in church. He makes sense of it and he brings it out, and it makes a lot of sense to you using IT. And then there's the cloud engineer. The cloud engineer is a kind of technology that kind of like takes, these days you just sit behind your computer. So previously it was physical. You'd have to go to something we call a server to download files. You'd have to go to the physical device and take your stuff out. But these days, somebody quickly made a plan and said, instead of everybody going to a server and downloading, I'll buy all the servers and then use the power of the internet to reach the server. So you don't have to have a Facebook server, computer in your house alone for you to accept. No, somebody has bought the service and is hosting it somewhere. I know it's a little bit complex, but I'm trying to break it down. And then there's the IT project manager. Okay, somebody who manages IT projects. He might not necessarily be adept at IT, but he has the administration prowess to handle projects, able to fix this person. Okay, I need a software developer, I need a data analyst, I need this person. So he fixes them at different places and then they do the work for him. Now, I'll quickly talk about the network engineer because that's what I do. Basically, the network engineer is making sure that a computer can talk to another computer. Okay, so you have WhatsApp on your phone. I have WhatsApp on my phone. When you send a message, how does it get to me? My job as a network engineer is to make sure that the message leaves your phone and comes to the other person's phone. Simple. That's all. They are able to talk to each other. So in the work organization, what do? We make sure the boss's email can go to his subordinate. The subordinate's email can go to him. We can have video conferencing calls. If somebody wants to watch us from outside the organization, I'm responsible to make sure that the information goes across. Furthermore, in the mining industry, you find out that we have big equipments. Okay, the big equipments have computers on them. Remember, computer is not what only Pascal has, but there are small intelligent devices on the tracks. There are small devices sitting in the mill that turns the gold. Okay, that processes the gold. They are all talking to each other. So track 1 is talking to track 2, and the conveyor 3 is talking to the conveyor 4, and another one is mixing and is talking to the other. So that when track 1 stops, it's able to tell us that, oh, track 1 has stopped. Okay, so I'm responsible for making sure that the information goes from one point to the other. That's a simplistic view of what I do at work, but at least it's important, right? So I'll quickly talk about the industrial revolutions and then fit in AI. So go. So the first industrial revolution, what I'm trying to say is that when people started working, things started advancing. It has gone through a number of phases. The first phase that it went was the mechanical revolution. So everything was boom, bang, 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 hardcore at that time. Then they went into the second revolution, which is 2.0, and then that was mass production. Now we are not just producing one bolt, one nut, one tie. No, we want to make a mass because 20 people in Ghana are needing this, 50 people somewhere are needing it. So we need to produce on a large scale. So then they began to introduce electricity, fuel, bigger machines to produce things on a mass scale. Then came Industry 3.0. That's the digital revolution. We started converting things to electronics. So we started seeing some TV sets. So instead of everybody traveling to go and watch something, no, we all sit back and learn at once. We don't need to travel to Greece. We don't need to travel to Accra. We all sit back. And they started inventing electronics. Then came the fourth revolution, and that's intelligence revolution. That's where AI came in. So that's where we are right now. AI is basically a tool, okay? It's not here to replace you, even though there are theories that it might replace you. No. What you have to do is just to adapt yourself to be able to use the AI, artificial intelligence. We are saying that instead of the human being doing all the thinking, we have given him an assistant. Just go to your computer and give him an instruction. And AI goes beyond what you type on our computers. We'll talk about it in a later session. But then basically AI is your personal assistant. It gets to understand your context. It gets to understand what you really want. It gets to understand even how you are thinking and offers solution. If you take yourself away from AI, it's like saying, I don't want to sit in a car again. You get it? You won't get anywhere. So AI has come. Let's go with AI. There are many ways to study AI and to be very beneficial to you. Remember, those who still decide to sit at Industry 1.0, they are stuck. Those who are stuck at 2.0 do not have any relevance. We are now sitting at 4.0, AI age. And so everybody should get acquainted to AI. In fact, there's a fifth resolution, but we are not there yet. Just put it up and then we talk about it briefly. The human-centered revolution, where it's talking about we human beings, where we are the center. But that's for later learnings. But now we sit in Industry 4.0. And so AI is not if, no, it is here now. It's not when will it come, it is here now. Then we want to talk about how we apply technology in our everyday life. As I spoke about it earlier, for communication, for business, for education, healthcare, and then entertainment. Quickly zoom into common myths about IT. So as I've said, a machine talks to anybody. You hear somebody say, hey, and another person talks, and I've spoken about cloud engineering and all that. So they are myths. As I've spoken about IT, there are things that have dropped into your mind and you are thinking about them. But we just want to demystify some of the things that come up. So first of all, IT is only for geniuses. No, it's not for people who are nerds. You saw in the careers I brought IT project manager. You don't have to know how WhatsApp is coded before you can manage a WhatsApp project. No, you can manage the creation of WhatsApp, but you don't have to know how it is. You just have to know the people I have to call. So you are the coach. You have some knowledge about football, that's fine. But you do the mixing, okay? You do the mixing and know that I need this person, I need this person. So it's not only for geniuses who are nerds and are sitting in some room and have locked them. Leave them to lock themselves. When they come, you manage them to produce the project. There's another one that says that you must be great at math. No, you don't need to be great at math. You just have to be average with math, because you have to know how to calculate your money anyway. So you can't eliminate math. You have to be able to calculate your money. So back again at the IT project manager, you don't have to know how intrinsically how those things work before you can manage the project. Even as a cybersecurity specialist, there's a field they call governance, risk, and compliance. You are making sure that the laws that have been written, everybody is following it. What is mathematical about that? No. But remember, you need just a little math. You don't have to be great at math. Okay. And then there's another myth that says only young people can work in IT. So as we are mentioning WhatsApp and we are mentioning Twitter, people have started eliminating themselves and say, no. IT doesn't have an age limit. IT has a space for everybody. And then the next one is IT is just fixing computers. Like I explained, it goes beyond that. You don't just fix computers and go away. It extends beyond the normal computers they have at the back there. It goes into what is in our pockets and the little things we are not even aware of. And then the other myth is that degrees are the only path. That one is falsehood. You don't need a degree to enter into IT. There are certifications and there are things that certify your knowledge without necessarily going to a degree. And they are recognized. This is not illegal. This is not shortcut. No. It takes work. It takes understanding. No shortcut. But then you don't need to go through a long degree system before you can get. No. You get paid well even without going through a degree system. Okay. And then let me quickly discuss how we can enter into the IT field. So first of all, you need to explore like we are doing. You are exploring knowledge. After this session, you ask questions. You have areas of interest. You ask questions. So explore. Know your options and work with them. Then the next thing is learn. No shortcuts. Genesis 2:15, God gave him a garden to tend it and to keep it. Not just to look at the garden, but to tend it and to keep it. Almighty God would have put into man. Then everything is done. But to tend it and to keep it. So you need to learn. Then the next one is an extension of the learning. Practice through. You need to practice. And then you need to earn your certifications. There are certifications that take 4 weeks, that take like 6 weeks to master and go ahead. You will be in solid IT. No shortcuts again. And then you have to gain experience by doing volunteering work. Luckily for us, there are a lot of tools and free platforms online that you can go and just gain those experience and add them to your CV. Okay, so my presentation will not be complete without talking about challenges in the IT career. So the first thing is that the technologies are changing. You learn something today, next year is changed. You learn something today, next 5 months is changed. So you constantly have to learn. You can't just be stuck. No, you constantly have to scale up. You constantly have to go and learn because it's changing. And then, so continuous learning is required because it's constantly changing. And then you have high responsibility for security and reliability. You see, the amount of information and the opportunity you are getting, you need to be responsible. Other than that, it's too much power concentrated in your hands and you can do worse with it. Just like a doctor is taught in the clinic about or in the school about everything and he decides to do abortions illegally for people. Same thing, IT, you have a wealth of knowledge. You have access to a lot of things. And so if you are not responsible, that's problematic. And then you have to do a lot of problem solving under pressure because you are working with productivity. And then you have to manage workload and deadlines. Now, what does it take to succeed in IT? Now you have entered. You know all the challenges in there. What does it take to succeed? You need to have a strong fundamentals in IT. You need to have a lifelong learning attitude. You have to have a problem solving mindset. You have to have communication and teamwork. And then you need to have ethical responsibility. That's very important, especially as Christians. You need to be very, very ethical. When the GM shows you the emails that are running and you need to work on it, will you go and tell your next friend? When you realize that this other person has so and so files on his computer, will you go and tell the other person? You need to have a lot of ethical responsibility. And then you need to have passion for technology. If you didn't hear anything in this presentation, I give you 4 takeaways. 1, IT impacts every industry. 2, challenges exist, but the rewards are high. very high. And then anyone can succeed with dedication. And then start learning today, not tomorrow, no other day. Start learning today. God bless you very much. Thank you very much.